because it's sometimes hard to see. So, hi, Tom.
Hello, Esther. I know we're doing this again.
It said recording, so I wanted to make sure we captured that. So, so happy to be here with you all. And we're seeing some lovely faces coming on Zoom. So we're just going to give it a quick moment here until everybody gets on. There you are. Now we see you better. Okay, so we have Stephen and we have Yona and we have Shoshana. Don't move that around for me. We always get into it when he moves these things around for me.
I was trying to help see who else we could see, though. I don't know. Who else can we see?
And so more people, I'm sure, will be joining. And so we're going to go ahead and start. I'm sure that we're live on Facebook. So let's get into it. And then whoever joins us. So this is going to be a participatory, hope I said that right, presentation tonight. So, be prepared to share. We're going to ask you guys to pop in and share your thoughts. We'll hopefully get enough time for, at least maybe a comment or two from all of you. And then the people on Facebook, feel free to share with us as well. You can put your comments in the comment sections in Facebook, and Scott is going to help us out and read those comments out. So hopefully it's going to be very interactive and a lot of fun. So thank you so much for being here. I know you could do a lot of things on a Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yes, you got your days straight. Good job, Esther.
So you could be doing a lot of things, but thank you for joining us. We're going to have a good time. All right. So you ready?
Do you want to introduce us a little bit, or?
Yeah, we're going to get into that right now. So he's always one step ahead of me. That's why I love him. All right. So tonight's presentation is all about how to keep it light when it's dark.
I say carry a flashlight. Sorry, bad joke.
He's the smart one in the group. So, I think it's a very pertinent conversation for tonight, right? Because the world is, going through a little bit of a transformation, shall we say?
Yeah, I think we've been in this process for a long time.
But lately, it seems like it's really dark. And so, when we were asked to do, this wisdom class, we thought, well, what could we share? And the truth is that humor, lightness, how to keep it light. And so that's how we came up with this concept for this evening, is how to keep things light when they're dark. All right. So you ready?
Yeah,
go on this journey?
Sure. And I think for our audience, those of them who don't know who we are, maybe you'll introduce yourself, Esther?
Yes, we're getting there, honey.
Okay.
Here we are. See? Who is Esther and Tom?
Oh, see, you're right. I was a step ahead of you. Sorry about that.
All right. So hang on one second, because I lost the visual for the Zoom, but I know you guys are there. So just bear with me one quick second here.
That end, this one. No, the end.
Hang on. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Okay, there you are. All right. So just bear with me one second here. I have to reposition this thing one more time. Sorry about this, guys. It happens. Okay. All right. So who is Esther and Tom? So for those of you that don't know us, why don't you go first, or should I go first?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. So I am an emotional intelligence specialist, and I came up with a concept called recognize your level of crazy and manage it. And we will talk about that in a minute. And so I now work with Tom, and we do some really interesting things. And I'll let Tom explain who he is, and that's where you'll learn more about that.
Yes, I'm Tom. Last name is Patullo. I'm an acupuncture physician and occupational therapist. We have a practice called Florida Balance Centers. and also another part of our practice is called acupuncture and integrative medicine. We do specialize in inner ear disorders, vertigo, balance disorders, dizziness, things of that nature. With acupuncture, we do treat a variety of conditions, pain conditions, headaches, all kinds of other issues that someone might be going through that's traditionally treated with acupuncture. We do a lot of work with nutrition in addition to our functional movement program. And we do include nutritional support with herbal medicines as well. So we try to follow a very holistic approach in trying to facilitate health. Esther's working on a few technical things here. She's having a little...
Sorry, everybody. We're having a little bit
You may want to close some of these other things. It's telling you your resources are too low.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that, everybody. Hang on one second. We're going to fix this in just 1 second. Hang on there, guys. Hang on 1 second.
Technical difficulties. Technical difficulties. We'll be with you shortly. There we go. We're having technical difficulties. We'll entertain you with a dancing hand.
Yes.
Oh no, here it comes again.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Stay tuned, folks. Don't leave us. Here she's getting it back up and running. She's a whiz with this. I can say that I'm glad I'm not the one dealing with all these clicks and maneuvers.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
Then you can expand this.
Hang on. Come on. Sorry, guys. Okay, we're just gonna have to keep it this way. Can you guys see the screen still? Can you see the screen, everybody?
Well, I think we can assume that
yes,
they do.
Stephen?
We see you.
Okay, can you see my screen?
No.
No,
Try to share.
no, we're seeing you and Tom.
Ah,
So we're not seeing your shared screen.
yeah, I think I know what happened here. Okay, bear with me 1 moment.
There you go. Now we see your beautiful 4 people with question marks on their face.
Okay, very good. So you guys didn't see the main page here, did
So
you?
go back. Yeah, go ahead. Go back.
Okay.
No,
Okay. Okay. I think something's going on with my computer. That's why it's moving a little slow. So no worries. We're going to close some of these other windows here to help free up some space. And hopefully that'll help us out. Okay. So basically, I think we pretty much gave our introduction.
Mhm.
And so let's keep it moving. Okay. So tonight we're going to take a holistic approach to how to keep things light when it's dark.
Mhm.
And so part of that holistic approach we're going to learn in just a minute. And we're going to start with EQ. So why EQ and why is it such a big deal and why is it such a big support system? Well, many years ago, I found that, AKA recognizing my level of crazy and learning to manage it, as I say, in a very lighthearted way, really helped me in a lot of different ways to keep things light when it was dark. Mm-hmm. Whether it's personal issues or global issues, it really helped me. And so that is when I started to move down the path of learning about what is emotional intelligence, what is EQ, and I became certified. And, you know, that's how I ended up here in this moment.
I say you're certifiable. Sorry. So, trying to keep it
So
light.
we're trying to keep it light. You're going to hear a lot of these corny jokes throughout this whole presentation, so please forgive us. Okay, so emotional intelligence / emotional quotient. What is it? So as you can read here, emotional intelligence is basically the ability to recognize and understand your emotions and the impact they have on your behavior and how that behavior impacts others. EQ, or emotional quotient, is the score of your emotional intelligence faculty. So the more you increase your EI, the more your EQ grows. Cool, right?
EIEQ. Cool acronyms.
Cool acronyms. So when you look over here, it's kind of like the cousin of IQ. So everyone knows what IQ is, right? Raise your hands if you know what IQ is. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, guys. So IQ is, you know, how smart we are, how book smart we are. You know, how many books have we read? You know, all the degrees that we have,
Right.
all that stuff is very, very important. Yet, research has shown that it is only 25% of our ultimate success in life, which means that there's quite a bit of percentage left on the table.
Yeah.
So
If you have a good IQ, that would leave about 75% on the table.
exactly. So there you go. 75% of that percentage comes from your EQ. So your EQ is the ability to really connect with yourself, other people, and really get your emotions under check. And as we see in the world today, there's a lot of people dealing with this emotional disturbances, as we call them, right? So their level of crazy is a little off. And so we need to really harness that energy. And so this is how we can do it. We can learn through the process of learning how to increase our IQ, practice our EQ and increase our EQ. Okay.
Very good.
All right. So let's keep it moving. So here's our EI EQ tools for this evening. Okay. You want to read some of these?
Sure. We got the first one is my favorite, is the spirituality, you know, I guess mental and emotional health and gratitude.
Okay.
Physical health and awareness, playfulness and humor, social interaction, and contribution and service.
Awesome.
Sounds like all wonderful things to be looking at.
Oh, typo.
Uh-oh. Typo. Tell me. I went through this thing like a fine-tooth comb. Tell me.
Service,
Oh, service.
contribution and service.
Service. That's right. I didn't catch that one. Thank you, Stephen. All right. Good job.
You gotta make a note on that one.
Yes. Okay.
So it's okay. That's her Ukrainian showing up through, you know,
That's
shining
right.
through. She's Ukrainian. She does an amazing job in general. So every once in a while, one of those words sneaks
It's
through.
true. I thought I got all of them, you see? All right. So let's dive deep, shall we?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll put on your snorkel.
Put on your snorkel. Okay, guys. So the first tool we're going to work on tonight is spirituality, mental and emotional health, and gratitude. So let's talk about some of these. And this is where we're going to ask you to pop in and just share. Once we're done with some of these, we're going to ask you, what do you use in your life under the hat of spirituality, mental and emotional health, and gratitude on how to keep things light? Okay, so Tom, what is one of your favorites on this list?
Well, the top one, you know, well, both the top two. I mean, having faith in a higher power, that there's more than what we're actually seeing here in this physical plane. Having some faith about that, and then being grateful for the things that we do have. That always kind of brings me back to some level of you know, pausing and just reflecting instead of being reactive and you know, feeling disturbed.
Okay. So for me, I would say it's learning about yourself. So using tools like astrology, numerology, self-development tools, EQ, right? anything that, that helps me better understand myself so that I can communicate to the rest of the world how I like to be treated or what I need and what I don't need, right? My needs.
That's good.
So, these are some of the things that really help me. So
how about the understanding why I like that phrase here, understanding why we are here at Earth School. What do you mean by Earth School?
Okay, very good. So, a lot of us, we're a spiritual community, and a lot of us know, I would think that we know, but maybe some of us don't, and that's okay, that we are here to learn lessons, right? We are here to learn lessons. We are here in life to, live this life, not just to pay bills, not just to go to work, not just to meet a partner, but to learn these life lessons that are very, very challenging at times, right? And
what would you say the life lessons are specifically?
So thank you for that question. There's all kinds of life lessons. There could be life lessons about health and wellness. There could be lessons with relationships, right? There's lessons with forgiveness and love and how to love unconditionally. So, a lot of these lessons are very, very important for all of us.
Patience and faith.
Exactly.
I like to think about it as also every experience we have as humans is, and if you can be present to every experience that we have is an opportunity, a moment for us to reflect or to be in the moment. And that every experience, whether it's negative or positive, and oftentimes it'll
lessons in this world.
I think somebody's.
Someone trying to say something here?
Yeah, that was me, Annie.
Yes. What were you saying?
I don't know if you heard what I said before about, for me, those life lessons, I learned this through Brian Weiss, Many Lives, Many Masters, that they were about unconditional love and patience and faith, and that they're soul lessons. And for me, that's what I'm trying to work on. And Tom, I totally agree with you. I go to gratitude. I just go to the trees, the grass, my feet, my one foot that works and my other leg that sort of works, my hands, my eyes, like Mark Gerson says, counting the blessings, counting everything that's good. And really everything around me is good. Even when it's not good, there's good in there.
Yeah.
So thank you. This is a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for participating. So yeah, exactly. So with Earth School, I would say that, that's what it means, is that Earth School, we come here it's like a school, and with some of the philosophies that we've read, actually, Brian Weiss is an amazing teacher. And there's another resource I'd like to share if you guys are open to it. It's called lifeexplained.com, lifeexplained.com. And he teaches, very similar things. And, we know that we're here on Earth School for a certain amount of time. And only the very, very strong come down to Earth School, because this is like the elite college. This is like the place where only the strong survive. So even though sometimes we may be struggling in life and we have a lot of challenges and it feels like, oh my God, Madonna mia, right? that only the strong come down here, the souls that are really willing to work. And that's very inspiring, because sometimes it feels like, oh my God, what is happening?
Well, yeah, how many challenges can we get at one time, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes it feels like it's raining and pouring on us.
Exactly. So no matter how hard things are, feel confident that your soul, that if you're here right now, right here, your soul is brilliant and you have something to do here, and you are an amazing soul because you're here on Earth School. Not everybody gets to come, and
during
you are here
during this particular period in time too, where there's a lot of
Yes.
changes and transformation. And going back to your emotional intelligence, these tools can help us along this journey.
Absolutely.
Trying to stay on track
Yeah.
trying to look at life like that, and elevate ourselves even when things look, a little dark sometimes.
Exactly. Okay, cool. So I'm popping in and out to see any comments. So forgive me here. I'm trying to do a couple of things at once. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's keep moving. No. Hang on.
There we go.
Okay. So the physical body. So, I'm sure that you guys have heard us talk about a lot of this stuff, from the health series that we've done and just through our work. Like, this is our life, this is our passion. Mine is EQ, but it's also health and wellness. And Tom, you've been in this work for God knows how many years, decades,
Yes,
right? 3
yes.
decades now.
Making me look old now, aren't you?
But isn't he gorgeous? He's so gorgeous. He's so gorgeous. So you wouldn't know at all that he's 90.
Yeah, let's see, it really works.
Exactly. So let's talk about this. So what's your favorite tool here when we talk about the physical body?
Wow, that's a tough one to pick because they're all so really important. I mean, I love physical fitness and movement. I think that's really important to move our bodies well and properly. But nutrition is really, even I think, king. It's really one of the first steps we have to pay attention to. So there's lots of things you've written here. Calculating risks, risk activities. I like that because even if we try to exercise, there's a risk to exercising. If you could injure yourself, but if you don't exercise, there's a risk to not exercising. Sitting on a couch, you can become the shape of the couch. So there's risks in everything we do, and I think the physical body, in my experience, is a doorway. It's our temple. And if we do really treat it that way as a temple, and we keep it clean, and we treat it with respect and with dignity and consciousness, that it opens the pathways to our spiritual, intellectual, and our emotional minds. So we have more clarity. And that's just an experience that I had in this process of really understanding how to take the physical body to optimal levels.
And I just want to say that when I wrote the piece about calculated risk activities, he says exercise. Actually, I was thinking about when we do risk-taking kind of activities, like, jumping out of a plane or walking on fire, which are some of the crazy things that I have done.
Maybe you should reconsider some of those things.
I have.
Unless the plane is crashing, maybe you shouldn't jump off of it.
Exactly. Why would you jump out of a perfectly
good
plane? Exactly. So calculated risks, that's where actually I was going, but I like what you said as well.
Yes, and there's a pro and con to most things,
Yes.
Like I've done you've done some things that are really risky.
Yes.
They produce a lot of adrenaline, right?
Yes.
A lot of people are addicted to adrenaline rushes. So we got to be careful with that. I've learned as time is going on that's good, but it also puts a toll on the body.
Yeah.
So, paying attention to calculated risk activities is important, not to just decide that you should push your adrenals to the max all the time. But it's important to, enjoy physical activity. So if doing something that's very physical, and maybe for some it's more risky and for others it's less because they're skilled.
Right.
So like, skiing or snowboarding or doing an activity like, water skiing, things like that. If you're skilled, it may not be as risky as someone who's new to it, but still the person should decide to take chances sometimes, but just stay within reason.
Okay.
Obviously it's an EQ decision, right?
Yeah. Stephen found another typo. So we're going to fix that. And I'm going to pick Stephen to send all my presentations to Stephen from now on.
Thanks, Stephen. We need the help.
Yes, Esther, one key rule in proofing, you don't proof your own work.
Exactly. Yes, it's true. And when you're short on time, sometimes it happens, but what can you do? So you're absolutely right. Well, for me, I will say that listening and nurturing is one of my biggest ones since you mentioned all those other ones, I'm going to say listen and nurture. And that has to do with, taking time to really listen to your body. Like if your body is telling you, I'm tired or I'm burnt out, I can't keep going. I need you to like take a break. I need you to go do something else, like maybe change of scenery. I need you to, take a day off, which sometimes it's impossible because you are self-employed. And so you really can't take a day off, but maybe you can create a little bit of space, carve out a little bit of space for yourself so that you're not thinking, you're not doing, you're just like in peace and away from that activity that you are burnt out from. So, for me, that's a very important part about knowing my body and following the tools for my body.
Very good. And I think that goes along with being alert and conscious.
Yes.
Like becoming aware. And awareness is when we can stop, look, and reflect
Yes.
on what's going on. Then we can maybe catch behaviors or patterns that might not be serving us so well.
And this one, when I was writing this one, this had to do with actually cutting your finger, for example. Like a couple of weeks ago, I was cutting a bagel or something. It was gluten-free, of course, but I was cutting a bagel and
still a calculated risk.
Exactly. And I, wasn't thinking or wasn't being present or whatever. I wasn't being alert and conscious. And I snipped a little bit of skin, and I didn't even feel it because, when you're just going, look down and all of a sudden I had blood on my finger. So,
Yes.
being alert and conscious.
And I notice for me, if maybe some of you can relate to this, but if we're busy, we start rushing to get things done. We're rushing to get here, rushing to get there. We were in a furniture store, rushing to buy a piece of furniture. And rushing on the way out, I actually hit my leg against the piece of furniture. So it was a lesson. I looked at that, as Annie was saying earlier, these things come to us, even when they're bad. It's like, wait a minute, that had hurt. I actually had to put a lot of ice on it and go through a healing process, but it made me, I had to use this process and become aware. I was irritated, I was angry about it, but then I said, wait a minute, this is simply more of a lesson for me to slow down. And there's no other lesson there that I need to look at other than that big lesson for me, and be present.
Exactly.
So we'll shine a light on that.
So let's go to the next page here. So the next tool is our favorite, right? It's my personal favorite. I know I say that's about all the tools, but this one is just like my favorite because this one is, I think, so universal, right? Humor and playfulness. Who doesn't get that? I mean, I think in my life, I'm getting up there now, I'm middle-aged, and in middle-aged years, I have come across very few, I could probably count them on my hand, very few people that don't connect to this tool. And I inspire those people to really work on it. And so here's some of the things that, I thought about when writing this presentation. So don't take yourself or life so seriously. And I think that's what may happen sometimes to us, is that life is serious, right? The reality of things is serious. The world is dark right now. There's a lot of serious issues, but they've always been there, unfortunately. And part of that is going back to the spirituality part about knowing that we are here in Earth School. So if we really understand why we're here, we could, as Brian Weiss even said, relax, calm down, just one day at a time, because we're not going to Rome was not built in a day. We're not going to finish all our karma in a day. You know what I mean? As much as, sometimes it feels like it, whether you're in relationship or at work, or, you're dealing with a health issue, you feel like you're going to finish your karmic debt in 2 seconds because it's so hard. But for the most part, don't take it so serious. Yeah. Bring some humor. And that brings me to learn to argue with humor. That's something that a lot of our mentors speak about, learn to argue with humor, because you're not always going to agree with the people around you. So learn to add a little bit of lightness to the arguments, the conversations.
That's very good. I mean, I'm chuckling because I love the picture of the cat that says, I hate people.
Right.
It's just a way to when you're having a frustrating day, you need to picture yourself just making a joke about it, right?
Exactly.
When maybe if you're in a service industry and you're struggling because maybe there's too many complaints coming in, just find a way to make a joke of it and kind of move on, so you don't get yourself down.
Exactly.
Remember, when we get upset, we think we don't. I think most of us recognize this, but maybe we're not always aware of it, that we're really hurting ourselves when we're getting angry, when we're getting stressed, we're getting irritated. All those physiological responses are happening in our body, not outside of us.
Right.
So if we can stop, look, and listen, then maybe we can find these tools to use to break ourselves out of that pattern.
And the other thing that just came to me actually is the opposite play, right? So what is opposite play? So opposite play looks like this. So the other day we were at somewhere and Tom says, "Do you like this, honey? Don't you love this?" And I knew where he was going with this because he had bought me this thing and he wants me to be happy about it. And so he's like, "Do you like it? Do you like it?" And I was like, "No, I don't really like it." And I was like dead serious. And he just started laughing, and we started laughing about it.
I said, you're being opposite lady today.
Right. He said opposite lady. And that's where I got the opposite play. And so, learn to just have fun, learning to have fun with, these different things that we do. It just makes things so much easier. Right. Yeah. Anybody want to share like really quickly about what they do with humor?
When Dad died, at his funeral, I shared one of his joke stories. He claimed the story was true, but I think it was a joke. But still, it got some chuckles out of our family and friends. Also, I remember when Ronald Reagan was shot, he joked all through his crisis.
Nice.
And I think that helped to save his life.
Yes. That's great. That's great. Thank you, Stephen. Yes. There's a lot of stories out there that, that talk about people creating their own self-healing through humor. And through, one story, there was a story, and this piece, I don't know for sure how in depth it was, but there was a story about a woman who would watch like a bunch of funny movies and cured herself of cancer. So look, it could be, because I definitely believe in self-healing and I definitely believe in the power of humor. And, she was probably a very holistic person, maybe, who used a lot of holistic tools. So you never know.
Well, it's an additional,
it's an additional tool for sure. There might have been extra factors there. I don't know. But the point is, humor is a great, great tool.
Yeah, we release different hormones when we're laughing and having fun versus when we're upset and stressed.
Yes.
So I think if we can stay in that, relaxed state,
Yes.
the state we call in our physiology the parasympathetic state, versus that fight or flight state, which is constantly fighting and battling, and that's we're producing a lot of adrenaline, which is corrosive. So there is a real physiology to these kinds of tools.
Yeah. And somebody had their hand raised. It said iPhone. I don't have a name. So if they want to come on real quick. Okay, guess not. Or yes?
Yeah, I'm coming up as iPhone.
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's funny.
Okay.
Norman Cousins. Norman
Yes.
Cousins was an author in the 80s, and he was diagnosed with cancer, and he went on a mission to laugh, and he healed himself.
There you go. Yeah.
Norman.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you
for that,
guys.
yeah.
Okay. So social interaction. So social interaction, I mean, look at what we're doing right now, right? This is pretty much it right here. Social interaction, such an important aspect of our life, whether you're in a partnership or whether you belong to a temple like we do, or if you just have like a work family that you love, any time that we practice being with others, and we can learn to practice to listen to others, spending time in social environments, purposeful activity, working together towards a common goal, teamwork, all these things are so, so fulfilling and so healing. I know that lately I've been doing some other volunteering with the temple, and it's just been so fulfilling to spend time with the functional board and working on certain projects. And when I was with the orchestra, it was a wonderful time, and just having these purposeful activities together, moving towards a common goal, achieving something that's for a bigger purpose. That is so fulfilling. How about you?
Yeah, similar. I mean, we're in the helping profession. We're seeing patients on a daily basis. We're interacting, and we try to create a very social environment here, because we do know that, like as Annie mentioned, the study by using humor helps people heal. So we like to do some group environments. But yes, participating with others, whether it's going out and playing, pickleball with some friends and having some time to do that, or, doing a purposeful activity for an organization like TAO. When you give, it's like, you actually receive more than you give.
Yes.
In that environment in many ways. So.
Okay, we got 3 so far, 3 typos.
I guess this computer thing doesn't have a spell checker, does it?
I thought I got them all, but again, you don't check your own work.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got you. Let's see how many more we can get. It's becoming a game now. Okay. Okay, so yes, it's very, very fulfilling. And I think having a common goal or common vision with others is actually a very, very important aspect of friendship. And I know that relationship for me, when I was looking for the ultimate partner, I knew that I would have to be engaged in a common vision with my partner. I couldn't just date someone and we would just have separate lives, and that just wouldn't work for me. So that's why I'm very, very a very big advocate of social interaction and making sure that we do have common visions with others. And it doesn't mean that you have to be 24/7 with other people, because I know I need a break sometimes. I need to decompress, and that's where nurturing and listening right to the body comes in. Like sometimes Thomas, I love you, but I need my space. I can't, and so I think healthy isolation and alone time is very healing, but social interaction is very, very powerful.
Yeah, it's a balancing act.
Yeah.
Trying to find that.
Yeah. Anybody else wanna share about this particular tool, how they manage this part, or any feelings they have about it?
Well, for me, social environments are a lifesaver, between my choruses and TAO and the folk club. Without them, I would be very lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Stephen. And thank you for putting yourself out there, because a lot of people don't. So, you're a very special person, because you're very aware of what you need. And that's very good. That goes back to nurture and listen. So you're nurturing yourself by listening. Hey, I need this. That's awesome. So good for you.
Yeah, and it sounds like you found some passions about things. I think it sparked my attention to folk music, the folk club. That sounds like an amazing thing to be involved in, and meeting those artists and hearing their stories. So you're staying engaged, gives you a brighter outlook on life.
And we have some TAO members who are also members of the folk club.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Cool.
We'll have to look into that.
Yes.
You'll have to send us some info about that.
Yeah. Peter Fox is one of them.
Oh, okay. Very good. He sings lovely. He
Okay.
always does a lot of different songs for different events and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love what he does.
Very
That's
good.
great.
Very good.
Okay. Very good. Let's keep going. All right. So contribution and service. See, I got the service up there, but I missed it on the other page. All right. So contribution and service. And this, this ties back for me with the social interaction, because this is where, when you're volunteering, this, I'm going to do a plug for volunteering. Volunteering is so fulfilling. And it's so important because, you know, we need help. The temple needs help. Whatever organization you are volunteering for, they need help. That's why they're asking for volunteers, because everything takes manpower, you know, woman power. And so, so if we can serve and we can give and we can do it with some fun energy, it's great. It's great. So Tom, what do you think about some of these tools up here?
I think I'm tired of service and contribution. I'm ready to go take a break.
Such a kidder, such a kidder.
So, no, it's what it's all about this. It's all in that same spectrum of being social, you know. So you keep giving when you can give, and sometimes when you can't give anymore, you just give a little more, you know.
That what you just said is that is such a powerful statement, what you just said. And it's like gives me goosebumps because it's true. It's true. Like when you feel tired, when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel stressed, when you feel just like, I'm so done. I'm so done. That is the moment, I know for me, when I've pushed through and like you'll ask me for something, or you'll, you know, ask me to do something extra, or somebody will ask me to do something extra, or somebody will reach out and say, could you do this or that? You know, we could really use the help. And as much as I want to say no, you know, no, I can't, I'm like overloaded. But in that moment, I say, all right, let me try. And you know what? Somehow the energy, I just get the energy. I get the energy to do it. And it's so powerful. And again, there's a caveat here, but you have to know where your limit is, because sometimes there is a limit. There is a limit where you can't, I can't. Sometimes I can't because I'm genuinely not feeling well.
Well, that's when I was just say go back to your physical body.
Yeah,
Your
exactly.
body will let you know.
Your body will let you know.
Because
So
the light will give you energy, but
yeah,
your body also will. You have to
exactly.
be aware and be conscious.
Yeah, thank you for that. See, that's why there's two of us. So yeah, it's a fine line.
And I'd like to add something.
Yeah,
The propensity at times to volunteer, and then your expectations are not being met. So then either by the person who's delegating to you or your co-volunteers. In my experience in working with nonprofits since the 70s and been involved in a multitude of different arenas in here and there, to me, it just boils down to setting what I think might be realistic expectations for myself, so I don't get burnt out, I don't bite off more than I can chew, and I don't feel like it's all on my shoulders, as opposed to having the communication along the line. And so many people just don't have that maybe experience in delegating, whether it be to an employee or to a volunteer. And when I was rallying around several times, I've done membership. Currently now I'm a membership chair of an organization. You know, you feel like you want everybody on your bandwagon, and you're out there pushing and pushing, or advocating or whatever, and then just realizing it's a balance and not everybody's where you're at. And then I'm not saying my ego, but probably an ego gets involved with wanting to achieve at some level and not getting the recognition, and, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Right. Thank you. It's a beautiful comment. And you know what? You know, I used to be involved in certain organizations, and I was there for a very long time. And when I left there and I joined TAO, which was a year later, because I had to clean out my mind and my heart and everything. I just wanted to start all over again. And I genuinely, at that moment when I left there, I didn't think I would ever re-enter another organization again. I know it was a silly thing to think, but I was so burnt out that I never thought I would ever come into another organized, group again. And it happened a year later, and it was TAO. And I found myself now entering with a very healthy state of mind, which is what you're saying, Kathy. I came in with a new version of myself, which was not expecting recognition, not doing it because, ego or this or that. Now, Am I perfect? No, because I'm still working on myself, right?
Yeah, but
I'm still down here.
But parts of you are excellent.
That's right. But I definitely get what you're saying, and it's a very important place to be, because that's where the true volunteering really kicks in. And there was something that was said a couple months ago by Brent Dillinger, who was a community member of ours, and I hope he doesn't mind that I'm saying this, but it was a beautiful thing that he said, and it was public, so I think I'm okay to say it. He was being recognized for being a volunteer, and he said that in the Wikipedia, it said volunteering is one of those things that you do, and it will be frustrating, it will be annoying, and you do it not for anything other than yourself feeling, some sort of internal fulfillment or reward that you're doing this, out of your own kindness of your own heart type of thing. And that's where he was going with that. And I'm not quoting him because that's not, exactly what he said, but it was along those lines. And I completely agree with you that if you're gonna volunteer, we definitely have to come from a place of like not wanting anything in return, because a lot of times, sometimes the jobs are, what's that word? It's a thankless job, let's just say, even though at TAO, we get thanked a lot, and we're very lucky. We're very lucky for that we have a congregation full of people that do thank us a lot and appreciate us a lot. And, but, again, the ultimate role of volunteering shouldn't be about that, right? So thank you for your comment. So, just to read these before we move on to the next slide, giving of your time for a cause, having a consciousness of service, and that's for even your partner. I think this is where we forget about that consciousness of service, is really like knowing that that's also sharing, being there for your partner, for your family, for your parents, for your sisters, brothers, cousins, grandma. It's not always easy. I always joke about my goofiness with my family. It's not always easy to share and to give with your family, because they push your buttons the most, partners, but I have found that is where the most growth happens. And when I give there, that is where I really blow the roof off my transformation. My growth really expands in those areas. Wouldn't you agree?
That's exactly right. I guess some of the things that sounds like here is trying not to take things personally when we're doing stuff, and not making assumptions or having expectations. All those things are, if we can practice those tools, then we can navigate a little easier.
Yeah.
So right, spot on.
Cool. Okay, and then trusting the big picture. So again, going back to spirituality, trusting that we're here for a reason. And then all acts of kindness, big or small, doesn't matter. So it all counts. Okay, so we're pretty much at the conclusion here, and then we can open up for questions, and we can, chit chat a little bit if you guys want. So the conclusion basically is this: keeping it light when it's dark, creating a holistic approach, growing our EI, and our EQ, learning to recognize and then managing our crazy, right? And, using those tools that we just talked about. So spirituality, mental and emotional health and gratitude, physical health and awareness, playfulness and humor, social interaction, and contribution and service. Was there anything else that I left out?
That seems pretty comprehensive. I'm sure, there's some other little bits and pieces, but I think you've really covered it. You've done a great job covering this, Est, really.
So how about you guys? And then we'll get to our quote in a little bit. How about you guys, share with us any of these tools, that we maybe didn't want to call on you, or you had some comments or questions, throw them out there. We have a couple minutes, so we can chat. Okay, so I guess there's no comments or questions. And is there anything on Facebook that anybody has anything to say? Otherwise, we'll do our
We'll let everybody
quote.
go rest and recover.
That's right.
Yes, like we're practicing. So this was thank you, Esther. Esther worked really hard on this presentation. I know there was a few typos, but thank you, Stephen. We appreciate the feedback, we do. But she does a really amazing job on putting the presentations together. I think they really bring across the point in a beautiful way. Yeah,
thank you. And thank you, Kathy, for the acknowledgement. And, presentations are fun to do, when you have something fun to say. And, it's something that it helps me gather my thoughts. This is another tool, right? It helps me to put my thoughts together and keeps me organized. And thank you for being my sidekick and helping. Sometimes people ask us, how do you guys prepare for these presentations? And truthfully speaking, Tom is, we're both very busy in our own way. Besides being at the clinic, when we're at the clinic together, but we have, our own things that we do. And how we do it is we plan out, initially the idea, the invitation comes to do the talk. I sit down, I start doing the outline and plan it out. And then I come to Tom and I go, what do you think? And then he'll say one or two words. I'll, get mad, and then we'll come back to the drawing board. And then, I realize he was right with his input, and I go right to work, and it comes out amazing. And so now I laugh because we used to get into it a lot more, but now it's like, it's like a argue with humor. So it's a little bit of a pout, and because I'm not understanding where he's going, man-woman thing, and eventually we figure it out, and then it ends up being an amazing presentation, hopefully, right?
I like what we did the other day. We were feeling a little burnt out. She was working indoors and I needed to get some physical exercise. So she said, Tom, we need to go over this thing. I said, okay, we can do that if we do it while we're walking to go get physical exercise.
That's right.
So she agreed. And during the walk, and that was great because that could have been a little bit of an upset because I just couldn't take being in the house anymore. And we took a walk to a place where we're going for a swim, take a little swim in a swimming pool, and we were able to manage to have a nice conversation on the walk.
And that goes back to physical health and awareness, nurturing yourself and listening. Right? He knew he needed to get out. I knew I needed to get out too.
And you needed to get this done too.
And I needed to get it done. And so here we are. So the tools, it's amazing. To live it and then to share it. And I think that's the beautiful part about, when you're really living your alignment and you're in full alignment of where you're meant to be. And so I'm very, very, very grateful for that. You know what? I'd like to do that right before we leave here tonight. Maybe everybody can either type into the chat or say it out loud. One word that you feel after this presentation, and it doesn't have to be a positive word, it could be a negative word, it's fine, but how, just one word that you feel after this presentation tonight. So, and I'd like to share it with everyone.
You mean a word that kind of they feel describes the presentation?
No, themselves, how they feel right now.
How they feel, okay.
Yeah. So either shout it out, put it in the chat, however you want to share it.
Can I say mine out loud?
Yes.
I'm going to say the word light.
Light. Great.
It just really feels light.
Great.
Elevated.
Oh, they're coming in.
Informed,
fulfilled,
yes.
Informed.
Now everybody's resting and relaxing. That's all. We got them all.
I see them typing. I'm going to hang on for one more second. We have 2 more minutes before it's 7 or 8:30. So we have a few more minutes. Hopefulness. That's a good word, right?
Yes.
Hopefulness, not
Yes.
hopelessness.
Hopeful.
Hopeful. Okay, good. Thank you, Shoshana.
Beautiful.
Thank you. And even if it's,
Happy.
happy, awesome.
Love that, Yona.
Yeah. And even, like I said, even if it's like not such a happy word, it's okay. It's okay, because even through that is where the healing happens.
Well, nobody's typed in
So-
bored so far.
Yeah, that's good.
So maybe they're thinking it. I don't know.
Yeah, they might be thinking it, but that's all
It's
right.
okay.
Yeah.
We won't take it personally.
Yeah, we won't. I'll cry a little bit after, but it's okay. All right. So very good. So it's 8:29. Thank you guys. We're gonna share our
you.
quotes here before we go, because we have to read our quotes, and feel free to read them with us. So Tom, you go first.
Okay, I love this phrase, reveal to heal. When we know better, we do better, and what we resist persists. And ultimately, we learn by doing.
And my quote is, when I know and understand myself, the world will know and understand me too. And remember, what's the best that can happen? Okay, guys. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much.
for joining
you.
us. Have an
Enjoyed it.
amazing evening, and we'll see some of you Friday night, maybe.
Yeah, I
Okay.
guess so.
Yes. All right. Oh, there's one more comment. Let's just make sure.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
for putting this
Okay.
together.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you for facilitating. Thank you for being here. Okay. We finished right on time. Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a great wisdom class, great presentation. You guys are awesome.
Let's send some healing to Scott so he can feel better soon.
Definitely. And also to Claudia and also to Shoshana.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. You
Lots
got
of
it.
healing
Lots
out
of
there.
healing. Lots
Yes,
of
lots
healing.
of light. Just visualize the light around you. We'll send you light blasts.
Yes.
All right.
And it doesn't hurt to take some vitamin C and watch
Zinc.
some funny movies.
Yeah.
Zinc. What else?
Vitamin C, zinc, L-lysine, cat's claw, any of those herbs that you got out there. But we can make a whole nother talk about that.
Yes, exactly. Feel free to reach out to us if you need some help. Okay, guys.
All right.
All
Good
right.
night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.